Hello to all of you watching or listening to our podcast. Thank you for joining another episode of Xraised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. I'm your host, Miles, and I hope you stay with me as we peel back the digital curtain on a topic that's as complex as it is critical: trust in AI, especially when lives, livelihoods, and the law are involved. And if there's anyone who knows how to walk that fine line between tradition and transformation, it's our returning guest today. She's an award winning barrister with over 2 decades of courtroom experience, a published author, and a frequent university lecturer. She's been recognized as the 2025 most influential CEO in legal tech. And for those of you meeting her for the first time, she's created an AI legal research solution helping lawyers operate at the top of their game. We're bringing to you the co-founder and chief executive officer of MiAI Law, promoting ethical AI, Laina Chan. Hi, Laina. Welcome back.
Hi, Miles. How are you?
Great. And I'm very happy to have you again. And I know you've already shown us how AI can revolutionize legal research. But today we're going a step deeper into something even more vital: how we build trust into technology. Very complicated, but let's do this. And we're starting with the big one because trust in AI sounds great in a brochure. But how do you actually embed trust into a tech that many people still fear or, frankly, don't fully understand?
I just have to, I want us to start with a story. And last week, I got to present to the Victorian Council of Law Reporting, the council members.
Mhm.
There was a judge, the Solicitor General of Victoria, uh, and a couple of librarians from the Supreme Court of Victoria, plus the person in charge of knowledge management from Ashurst. And the judge, who's the chair of the Council of Law Reporting, said to me that it, if your product is really accurate, and it is, then the concern is that people will stop checking the outputs.
Mm.
But but I can't control what people do or they don't do. I can tell you that they should check the outputs, and we've made it as easy as possible for you to check it. Because as I've said before, and I think I said this in the last episode, that we've made sure that we give you accurate pinpoint referencing, that every proposition is backed by a source.
Mhm.
And we've even given you the pinpoint references. And so we've made it as easy as possible for you. And I definitely say that everybody has to check their outputs because of the way AI works. And yes, when we don't know the answer to something, we do say so in our reports. We will tell you where there are gaps in our outputs, in our source material. So we'll tell you what we have done and what we haven't done. So we reveal our reasoning process. We tell you all the cases that have been retrieved to answer your question. We tell you which cases we have actually relied upon, and we provide you with the pinpoint references. We tell you what we haven't looked at. We lay it all out for you so that it's very easy for you to check whether or not our reasoning process is correct, whether we have relied upon all of the relevant cases. And in order for you to understand this, you do have to be a lawyer, because you do have to bring with you some background,
Mhm.
understanding and knowledge of the subject matter area of law, so that you know whether or not we've all gone off on a tangent. But the fact of the matter is, I can't control if the user checks the work, but I say the user must check the work, and we have made it as uh, easy as possible for you to do so. Because
Mhm.
AI works on inferences and probabilities. By that, I mean it does not understand. AI does not understand at all what it is reading.
Mhm. And it
It is,
hallucinates.
mhm,
And it
yeah.
hallucinates, right? So they really have to check.
Well, hallucination happens because there isn't enough information in the
Wow.
source material for AI to answer the question.
Mhm.
And when that happens, OpenAI and all these Gemini, etc., they all seem to be programmed to make you feel good about yourself. So they always want to give you an answer. And so when there isn't enough material in the source material to provide you with the answer to your question. It'll just make it up. It'll just
Mm-hmm.
say, well, the likelihood of these words following them from those words is that,
Mm-hmm.
and so we'll just take a punt that the probability that the answer is this is X, and we'll just return that. We'll
Mm-hmm.
return that answer, which has been inferred, right? It's
Yeah.
just been a mathematical exercise in putting together a sequence of words and just things, oh, well, the probability of these words will go together
Mm-hmm.
is this, and we'll just return that as an answer. So it hallucinates because there is not enough source material
Mm-hmm.
to provide you with an answer to your question. So
And
we're
that's why,
different.
sorry,
Hmm?
go ahead.
We're different because we search our cases, the
Mm-hmm.
information of the case extractions that we have created. But when we don't have an answer, when we don't have on point answer for you, or we will say so. We will say we do not have a case on point,
Mm-hmm.
but we have reason from first principles, and the relevant first principles are this. I mean, our deep research reports go for 4 or 5 or 6 pages, right? So it's not just like a one-line answer, but the whole reasoning is revealed.
I see. That's why right prompting, as you said before, is really important. And as you said, every proposition with a pinpoint reference backed by source or a source,
What
everything
what do
that.
you mean by prompting is important? I mean, you have to provide my AI law with enough information so that we
Uh-huh.
can research your question properly.
Mm.
You can give us brackets. You can give us as much information as you want, and the more the better, so that we have the appropriate context to be able to give you the best answer to your
Mm.
question. We can't imagine what is in your head. So you have to explain exactly to us what is the problem you want solved, and then we
Mm.
will go into my algorithms will then kick into action, and it will execute the set of instructions I've told it to execute to find you your answer to the question. And if we do not have all the sources that we need to answer your question, we will tell you. We won't just make
Yeah.
something up.
Mm-hmm. And thanks for that clarity. And everything has receipts. And if only online arguments work that way, it's just comforting to hear that at the core of your AI is a commitment to clarity and evidence. So, why don't we dig deeper into the ethics, responsible AI? It gets tossed around a lot, but in practice, especially in something as high stakes as legal research, Lena, what does that responsibility actually look like?
Well, I've done everything that I can to make it as easy as possible for the user. Then it really comes back on the user to do the right thing by their clients and to do the right thing by the courts, because I know we're only selling to lawyers in Australia and in-house
Mhm.
counsel and barristers, but a lawyer with experience brings a lot more to the table than just research skills.
Mhm.
And it is really up to the lawyer to use the research to craft the strategy for their client, to provide the client with the outcome that they want. But your strategy is only as strong or as solid as your foundation, and your
Right.
foundation is the legal research. And so while we have done everything we can to provide you with the most accurate and answers that we can to your questions, I cannot guarantee that there will be no hallucinations, simply because of the way that AI works, and it works on probabilities and inference. So I might be able to get my answers up to 99 or 99.9% or 99.5% of accuracy, but I can never guarantee 100% accuracy because of the way AI works. And as I said, that's from probabilities and inference. So I can't guarantee that. And I know at 99 or 99.5% accuracy, that is already way better than a human could possibly do.
Mhm.
I have found that the paralegals, etc., who work for me, or I thought that maybe they were working on around 95% accuracy, and I know I've said that before in at seminars and conferences where the topic of AI has come up, and I've thrown that figure out there that said that I think that humans maybe are operating at 95% accuracy, and then that's been the subject of disbelief because some believe that, junior lawyers, etc., are running at a far lower accuracy than 95%.
Mm-hmm.
And but the fact is, I think it's your responsibility to your client to make sure that you can back up, that you can back up your strategy. But and the way you do that is to prove that your foundation is solid. And the way
Mm-hmm.
to do that is to verify that the research is actually correct. And in circumstances where we have done everything we can to make it as easy as possible to you to check the accuracy, then there really is no excuse. And this
Mm-hmm.
really comes down to the fact that law schools have to change the way they teach the law students how to become lawyers. And it's not so much maybe from going from first principles and then trawling through the database to do research the old way, but they have to teach the lawyers how to scrutinize and pull apart a solution that has been put forward by MiAI Law, for example.
Uh-huh.
And then they have to be able to critically analyze that research report to see whether or not that research is accurate and whether there are any holes and gaps.
Yeah. And legal research is the foundation. That's why it has to be
Yes,
accurate. And you know what you said earlier, that's an important point because AI is not a magic crystal ball. It's a tool. And
it's
like
not.
any other tool, it's only as good as how you use it, right? Or as I like to say, you can't blame
Well,
the
it's not just as good as how you use
Hmm.
it. Is that first the difference between us and everybody else, LexisNexis, Thomson Reuters, Harvey, etc., for research. I'm only talking about the research part. That it is my understanding that A, they only work off secondary materials, and B, I do not believe, at least for LexisNexis, that they have got the legal algorithms or the set of instructions that go into action the moment a user submits a legal query into their system. That what they are doing is just relying upon the LLM, some prompt engineering. A user asks a question. I think that prompt is re-engineered. I think it is. I'm not sure if it is. And then that is sent into the language model, then is just directed into the database and they hope for the best. Whereas ours is different. We have actually incorporated my brain, the legal reasoning that comes from, my years of experience on how to research a problem,
Mhm.
and all that is embedded. So normal AI doesn't reason, it just acts by mimicry. It mimics because that has been trained on everything on the internet. It doesn't reason by itself. Any reasoning has to come from a third party. And so in my AI law, that reasoning has come from me because I have embedded the legal reasoning into a set of algorithms, a set of code, and that depending upon what type of question you're asking my AI law, then it will invoke the relevant set of instructions to go into action the moment the user asks a question. And all that is revealed to you. So there's just
Mm.
simply no excuse whatsoever for a user to not check the work. And
Mhm.
I know it's very tempting for maybe law firms to think, oh, well, we don't need to hire so many junior lawyers anymore, etc. And yes, they don't have to do the grunt work so much, but you need to teach them, and law schools need to teach them how to scrutinize the output of AI so that everyone can be comfortable that the research is correct. And it's just a real concern I've noticed that people out there just 100% trusting the AI, perhaps not understanding how AI actually works. You cannot replace a human with AI, 100%. You need to check the output. And so for people who have replaced, uh, service industries, help desks, etc., with AI, it's just, it's all very frustrating, isn't it? I mean, when I call up somebody or I'm talking to American Express on their chatbot, I always ask them, are you a human?
Mhm.
And they say they are, because, have you used chatbots when it's just AI? It's just it's off the wall. It's just not really targeted. It's not really accurate. It doesn't really understand
Mm-hmm.
your the problem. It doesn't give you an on-point answer to your question. And I don't and I just it just scares me that all these people think that AI is ready to replace human beings. And some parts definitely that AI can replace it, but I just don't think that AI is at the place now where human beings can be just taken out of the equation.
Uh-huh.
You can take them out, but then that is at the expense of accuracy.
Yeah. So knowing how to scrutinize AI is essential to really understand it. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the server room, data breaches. And we know this is a real fear, especially in legal practice. How does my AI law mitigate this risk?
Well, all the user data is stored in Microsoft Azure. And so you get the protection of Microsoft Azure, and also we encrypt all the data as well. We're sponsored by Microsoft, AWS, and Google.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we're storing all of the users' data on the Microsoft Azure servers, and we also encrypt everything.
Yeah, that's great. So basically, if there's, say, a legal black hole, my AI law doesn't try to fill it with, say, fairy dust. It just tells you the truth. And the data is encrypted as well. I mean, your partners are big players, and that
Yeah.
alone makes your platform more honest than maybe half the internet.
I mean,
And
at the same time, my AI law, we can connect to Dropbox. We can connect to anything on your laptop, on your computer. We can connect to OneDrive if you want to extract anything from there for case summarization, etc. We can do
Mhm.
that already. But then once it's extracted, we then store a copy of it under your username and account, and it's in Microsoft Azure.
Mhm. Now,
So you
moving
can
on.
trust us as much as you can trust Microsoft. And over that, we put on a layer of encryption.
Yes, and now moving on, Lena. One of the most subtle and dangerous risks in AI is bias, especially in legal reasoning. I mean, how do you make sure my AI doesn't unintentionally reinforce the very inequities it's trying to fix?
I'm not trying to fix inequities.
Okay.
I'm just trying to give you the correct answer to any legal problem.
Mm-hmm.
All we care about is accuracy. All we care about is that we've given you the best possible answer to a legal problem based upon precedent. So if in the precedent, the judge's reasoning have embedded bias into it,
Mm-hmm.
then that will be revealed. I mean, that will follow through in the answer because we're just worried about the truth
Yeah.
and accuracy. So if historically judges' reasonings have been biased in any particular way, and that has carried through into the modern day, then
Mhm.
that bias will still be in the answers because all our answers are based upon precedent. And so it's an unavoidable artifact, if you want to call it like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's such a clear-eyed approach, Lena, because if the system is flawed, you can't just change it, right? But you can make sure that your tool reflects the law accurately, as you've said, not actually amplify whatever bias there is. And that's integrity in action. So here's where I flip the mirror, Lena. Let's close the loop on ethics. How does my AI law help lawyers stay ethically grounded while using AI-driven research tools?
How do we keep them? I think I answered this earlier. It's because we have a white box, right? Everything is revealed. And so it's up to you. I can't make everyone do the right thing, but all I can do is make it as easy as possible for the lawyers to do the right thing. We have eliminated as much as possible hallucination, and we have opened up everything. I mean, we've opened up everything we can open up to you. I don't obviously tell you how I managed to get my AI to reason through all the steps that it reasons through. And I don't tell you how we actually settle upon the cases that we settle upon to be the foundation of the answers that we produce for you. But I've just made it as easy as possible to to check the answers. And because we also have legislation research now from first principles, we have research, deep and light research from first principles. We have a contract review suite from first principles so that you can upload any contract and it will check every clause for risk and legal, for commercial risk and legal risk against all the cases in the database. And in that way, we provide the reasoning. Everything is revealed. We say that this clause presents a risk in this particular area. The reason we say this is Y. The cases we have relied upon to say this is Z. This is the recommended action. And then we provide you with an alternative wording to the clause that we recommend would be fairer. So everything we do actually is always tries to ameliorate the uneven balance of power between the two parties. And yes, I can't force the stronger party to be fairer, etc. But I can reveal to both sides, if they use MiAI Law, that what the particular risks are, because it will even tell you which risk is liable to be, that clause is liable to be struck down in court for any particular reason, because it's a penalty, etc. And then what Keenan actually said to me to highlight was that even if everybody uses MiAI Law, everyone using it will not get, you will not get identical reports, because when we send our inference, the questions for inference to generate the report and for analysis, you never get the same language model. It's called a mixture of experts. You never know which expert you're going to get to answer your question. There's multiple different experts out there, like for example, for OpenAI, for Gemini, etc.
Yeah.
So if I send a question to OpenAI, for example, to generate the report after we've done all the analysis and we've extracted all the relevant information, it goes and it generates, and that answer will not be the same if I run it again the next minute, or if someone else runs the same question at the same time. The answers will all be different because of this mixture of experts scenario. We never know which expert is going to be called to answer our question. So people don't have to worry if that, like, if 1,000 of you are using MiAI Law, that all of you will get 1,000 identical reports. It won't be that, because and I've also found that some experts are better than others. Some experts write a better report than others, but then I can't force, I can't pick whichever particular expert I want to answer the question. So you don't get identical
Response.
reports or identical wording. I mean, the substance will be the same, but the way it's framed and the way it's expressed is different every time you ask for an answer to a research problem, which is interesting.
Yeah, and amazing, I would say. And so you said white box AI earlier. It's like the exact opposite of the mysterious black box most people fear. So you promote transparency, accuracy again, and making it simple and easier to navigate and to check the data. So
And
late.
we have the reasoning. Our reasoning is embedded into the system. So yes, LLMs cannot reason,
Yes.
but we don't just rely on the LLMs. We've got multiple layers in our model, multiple layers of AI having to work at each level. And each level, we have coded in what we want the LLM to do. So while it itself can't reason, we have embedded the reasoning into our model.
Yeah. And that what makes my AI law very unique. So, Laina, thank you again for reminding us that trust and accuracy are the real currency of innovation. We appreciate you sharing your wisdom, your wit, and your unwavering focus on ethical tech once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Miles.
Thank you. Well, that what a conversation with Lena. If you've been listening or wondering, can we actually trust AI in something as sacred as the legal system? I think this episode answered that question with a resounding yes. But only if it's built right. And that's what Lena's been doing with integrity, clarity, and of course, accuracy. So go check it out at myai.law. Thank you guys for spending time with us today. We'll see you again in our next one. This has been your host, Miles, with Lena. Stay focused and inspired with Xraised.